Tonight we're going to talk about unleashing your wild. What does that mean? What is your wild? Let me tell you, it's not a rebellion just for the sake of rebellion. What we're talking about is your instinctual nature. And maybe the best way to understand it is through nature. And if you have ever been to a wild place in nature, and by wild we're talking about a place that has not been tamed, we're not talking about a meticulously maintained park or a place that a lot of people go all the time. We're talking about a place like the Grand Canyon, like a national park, like some wild forest, a place that not so many people go. And even if they do, they're just paths and a lot of wildness left still. And how those places remind us of pure being and presence, and how when we're there, we kind of lose any sense of our little problems, even sometimes our identity itself, and we can be totally immersed in nature and totally part of that wildness and feel at one with it and be in awe and feel present, and like nobody's judging us and everything feels so natural and relaxing somehow. And we emerge from those places renewed and refreshed. And especially when weather happens, if we're up in the mountains and there's a little bit of danger to and unpredictability, which that is very true of wild places. And your senses need to be so sharp, you need to be so present, because you don't know. It's a wild place, you might even see a wild animal. You don't know how things are going to go. And precisely that's why you're so very present and alert, and your instincts kick in, and you try to remember which path did we take, and sometimes you get lost. And you're like, okay, we need to find a way out. And there's a little bit of like a fear, but more of an excitement. And the things that you encounter could take your breath away. I remember once being in Haleakala Park in Hawaii, and we had read in this guidebook about this lookout where you could see your shadow in the clouds. And we happened to be going there close to sunset, so we're like, okay, before we go to the very top, let's check this lookout out. And there was nobody there. And because it was so high up, but you also have this drop down, it's a volcano, uh, there are these misty clouds, kind of like a haze passing by constantly. And the sun was setting at the right time, and we could see our shadows in the clouds with this rainbow halo around our shadow, and then a bigger rainbow halo around that one. And it was such a magical moment. And maybe for like 3 4 minutes, there was nobody else around. And I was like, wow, I was so present and so immersed. It's like, it was the most magical thing ever. And the native Hawaiians believe that if that happens to you, it means that your soul is pure. And now, when I talk about it, I can transport myself to that moment. And then some other people came and kind of, gets you out of it. But we showed them, and they got to experience it for a little bit, and then they left. And then it was just us and the shadows and the clouds in this perfect moment of total communion with nature, source, soul. So that's what I'm talking about, like this wildness where you feel very present, very alert, your senses are sharp, and you're so aware and so natural because nobody's judging you, nobody's telling you how to be and what to be. You can be spontaneous. And this is the wildness that I'm talking about, that the more we go there, the more we can allow our authentic, soulful life to emerge, the life that is true for us, the life that our soul came here to live, the life that is not based on conditioning, societal expectations, what will people say, um, but the life that is like into the wild, the life of Thoreau and Emerson and everybody that went against the status quo and achieved something really great because they believed in their dreams and visions and magic. And they were really like enthralled and totally like trusting their instinct despite the unbelief of everybody else and the inability of other people to understand them. They were trusting their visions, they were trusting their dreams, they were going for that. And they lived a life that was completely true for them. And this is the wild life. It is not partying and drinking and drugs. It's not even plant medicine. It is truly connecting with your pain, with your joy, with your true feelings, and expressing them as you feel them, as when you were a child, and processing them, and being guided by your instincts and trusting them more than anything else, and carving this really magical adventure that you designed before you came into this body for yourself, and you left yourself clues to wake you up. And there are movies and songs and people that say certain things and books that you read that you feel that longing and you feel like that pain of like, oh my god, what am I living? You feel that sense of I'm missing out on something. Like there's something that I came here to do and I don't know what it is, but surely it is not what I'm doing. And it does not have to be crazy, but it's that thing that makes you feel present and alive while you're doing it. And it gives you this sense of like purpose, but not in a something that you're chasing and you would accomplish in 10 years, but like now, that thing that I'm doing right now is my purpose. And it gives you that sense of joy and completion. And it doesn't mean that it won't be difficult. It doesn't mean that it won't require everything from you. But it's precisely because it requires everything from you and there are challenges that you feel like you're using all of your faculties and you're so alert and so driven and so in the flow that it makes it worthwhile completely. Because just by giving it all, you gain it all because we came here to do that, to give it all. Because we get what we give. And in the end, the love that you take is the love that you made.